If you've been asking yourself how much you actually need to share about you, about the person behind the brand, how much you can actually share on your personal life, yes or not to share, how much you actually need to expose out of yourself in the different social media platforms and with your followers. So, if you ask yourself those questions, this episode is for you. So, hi everyone, and welcome to Big Brander Podcast. My name is Dana Ohana, and this is the place where you're going to learn more about social media, brand building, other marketing topics, and of course, on our journey as entrepreneurs and how it can actually help us to build a strong brand. So, I've been asked so many times about how much you actually need to expose out of yourself and how much you need to share on the different social media platform. When is it too personal and when is it not? And here I want to mention this: you are the brand, and a brand is a story. And each brand's got a different story. And that story is something that you really want to share with your audience, because by sharing that story, you're helping them to understand who you are, if they can actually, resonate with you, to create a more of a personal connection, because eventually people buy from people. And people buy from people they have a connection with, people that they can start building a relationship with. Because if I build relationship with you, it means that I'm going to trust you. And if I'm trusting you, it means that I'm going to be your loyal to your brand and your best brand ambassador. And that is how you actually build a strong brand. But if you're not sharing a bit about yourself, if you're not letting them to get to know you, the person behind, the brand, and again, as I said, you are the brand. So if you're not doing that, it's going to be more difficult for them to get to know you and to connect with you and to build that relationship with you. Because eventually, when I go to a certain business, right, there are so many people who do similar things to what you do. But if you can build that connection, if you can help them to see why you know so much, how you got to where you are, how much and where's it coming from, and what's your why you do what you do, which I do have an episode about this, and I recommend you to go listen. But if you do that, it's really going to help you to build your brand. But the question is, like, how much should we share? How much should we expose? Here's the part that you need to ask yourself: how much are you willing to share? What is right for you? You decide the portion of how much you share, how deep you're going to share. For example, when I started my business, I started it because I had a wake up call. My mom passed away, which got me to realize that, you know what, I need to overcome my fears and I need to get up and do it. And I need to stop being afraid of like what's going to happen. And I'm done building brands for other people. I want to build my own brand. But in the beginning, it wasn't that comfortable for me to share about this because it was something personal for me, because it was like literally like few months after my mom passed away. But in time, when I felt more comfortable with this, I was starting to share a bit more. Now I'm deciding how much I want to share, right? I'm sharing about like the general experience out of it and how I got the wake up call, but I don't share into the details how hard it was and what we dealt with as a family and things like that, because this is my personal things. So I am sharing as much as I'm feeling to share, but I do share it. And that's what I recommend to you, to do share some stuff. So if, for example, you were struggling with doing something, share about that experience. And again, share it from the point of view of what it was for your side, because you do want to create that personal connection. As well, you want to share it to, motivate them, to inspire them, to show them that if you overcome this, then they can overcome it. That's why when I'm sharing, for example, things, I do share on my personal experience on like how hard it was to build my own brand. Yes, there's one thing when you build a brand like Kleenex, right? Which well-known brand, got the budget, got the team, got everything I need to, versus building my own brand. So I always share about my experience, how hard it was for me. So like when people look at this, they don't say like, oh wow, well of course she comes from marketing, it's easy for her to market herself and build a brand. No, it's actually not, the opposite, and that's why I was sharing about this. And I decide again how much I want to share. And one of the things that I sometimes love to do is to share, like an introduction post about me, like to let them know things that they don't know about me on my personal life. Like, for example, that I've learned to play piano for 10 years, and things like that, because that gets them to like, okay, there's more to that person. It's not just someone that I see on social media that just give me tips or they just speak on certain things, because that maybe can try to, you looked a bit like maybe even some for some overselling. You want to have that personal connection, because as I said, people buy from people, and people move to buy from those they have a connection with, but it's an emotional connection. And in order for you to create that emotional connection, because we actually make our decision based on our emotions more than the logic, right? Because there's something that with all social media that became very maybe mechanics in a way. So you want to have that personal touch. So I do recommend to expose yourself and to share, but again, do it in a smart way. Share things that are relevant to your business, to what you do. Share things that can maybe put another light around your brand about who you are, that eventually people can link to you. So, for example, if I share about the piano, I'm also sharing about my creative side, mathematical side. Everyone can take it from different angles, and that's the beauty of it. But again, you need to share on the level that it's right for you. Because if you, for example, like one of my clients, been through like an emotional abuse in a relationship. But when I told her to share, she shared it from the side that how much she can actually deal with. Because she don't want to trigger herself and get herself to a bad place, right? That she won't be able to deal with this. As well with one of my clients that we were working on a lecture that she was doing, we built the lecture in a certain way, and when she tried it once, she realized it was too much for her, so we changed the lecture. And that's the part when you want to get to know yourself and how much you can do. And that's okay that in the beginning you will share certain things, and then later on you will share other things as well, or on a deeper level, as I said, like with the example of me sharing about my mom, because I wasn't ready back then to share, and then I got to a place that I was more accepting what happened, and it was more okay for me to share it. And I use it to share that, like, don't get to the place where you need to get that bang. You can do your things now before it's actually getting to a place that it's not so nice. So share, but again, you decide how much to share, and remember that you are the brand and you evolve. And when you evolve, you can share more. And remember, you want to create that personal connection. You want to get them to get to know you. Because again, as I said, like when I want to buy your service or your product, I want to know that you know what you're talking about, but not only on the expertise part and educational part, but also from the side that you know what you've been through, what I've been through. You understand what I'm going through, because when you're creating content, you're focusing on the problem and not on the solution, right? And in order for me to as a potential client, to know that you know what you're talking about, that you understand what is the problem, challenge, pain point that I experience, you need to share something personal. And that's, by the way, one of the content strategies, which I also have an episode about this, on the different content strategies that you can use. But this is one of them, which is on creating personal connection. So I do recommend to share. And again, you do it for what's right for you. You don't want to overshare, or from the side that that it's going to be too much for you to handle. Okay, so think about it like this. And again, I would love to hear your thoughts about and to get to know you. So you're more than welcome to even reach out to me on a different social media platform, search for Be Consulting, and let me get to know you a bit. And let me know your why you do what you do, because there's always a deeper story to why we do what we do. And when you connect to that why, you can get your audience to connect with you, because it makes you human. It makes you a person that is an inspiration. Then it makes you a person that, why, if you've done it, it means that I can do it. So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep on trying, and I want to reach out to you because I know you can help me, because you see me, you understand me, we resonate with each other. And that's the purpose of it. So go and share a bit about yourself. And again, don't just make it like a personal album of yours, right? Because you want to find that balance between sharing about who you are and on the personal side, but it's not just the personal. So find the right balance between educating your audience to sharing about yourself. And the best way is actually to merge those two together. As I said, like when I'm going to share about how much tough it was for me to put a picture of myself or to make my first video, and how I was so insecure and I overcome this, I'm mixing it. I'm merging between the part of like the personal side, my personal experience, to the actual educational part of it. So go share it, put it out there, and see how it works for you. And I would love to hear how it's working for you. And again, do what's right for you. Find that right balance that's right for you.